For more on Asia's growing biotech industry, I spoke with Erik Gordon. He's a clinical assistant professor at the University of Michigan's Ross School of Business. Now, Malaysia has set its biotech sights high since 2005, when the country's first national biotech program was launched. And I asked him how much progress has been made since then.
But Malaysia has been pretty persistent and pretty consistent. There are many students from Malaysia at top research institutions around the world learning how to do biotech. So you have to be pretty optimistic about where Malaysia is going to end up, but it's not something that's going to happen next year. This is, 5, 10, 20 years. But Malaysia could well be a contender.
Professor, in terms of other Asian countries, China's biotech and pharmaceutical market projected to hit around $200 billion by 2020, but there are some challenges inherent to China's biotech development market. What are those?
Well, it's a new market, so we're not sure exactly how things like intellectual property protection will be handled. The truth is we're not sure how that's going to be handled in some of the newer forms of drugs and biotech products in most of the world, but the legal system is a bit behind. We'll need to see some stability in the rules on investing. So those rules have recently been relaxed and been made more friendly toward inbound investing. But investing is a long-term game, so non-Chinese companies will have to have the idea that there's going to be some stability of even the financial rules. And then, of course, the actual regulation of research, selling drugs, and getting them approved. All of these need to advance a little bit, but they will.
U.S. drug giant Pfizer is planning on investing about $350 million to develop a biotech center in China. What do you make of that move?
I think it's a smart move on Pfizer's part. China is already a huge market. It's the fastest growing market. And one of the keys of having long-term success there is going to be to do actual research there. China does not want to simply be a low-cost manufacturer of drugs the way sort of the trap that India fell in. China's a good place to do research. It has a lot of highly trained people. And if you don't do research there, I don't think you're going to succeed in the market.
Well, Japan's biotech sector traditionally dominated by the big giants like Takeda and Astellas. But how is the market there evolving now?
Well, the market everywhere, including even Japan, is evolving towards smaller, more nimble companies that instead of having huge research projects that require huge amounts of capital, do a large number of smaller experiments to see which will work. So even in Japan, which is about as corporate a country as one can imagine, the trend is towards the smaller, more entrepreneurial, more flexible companies.
What about the notion of patents? Because traditionally, some have made the argument that if you have short-term patents, that disincentivizes people from investing a lot of money into research and design and analysis. Is this hampering the biotech market in Asia?
You have to have some patent protection because this is a very risky business. You put hundreds of millions of dollars into a project many years. If you get to the end and just anybody can copy it, you just can't afford to take that extra risk. So getting a balance in patents, a balance that allows the innovators to innovate without being crowded out by people who already own the patents, but yet award patents to the true innovators so that capital will flow to the true innovators. That's the kind of balance that we have to see. We have to see it worldwide. We are arguing about it every day in the US, every day in Europe, and those arguments and debates will go on in Asia also.